Hey gang, Rick here with Let's Level Up, and I'm here to talk to you about Cultists of Cthulhu. This game is actually really good, and it's going to be hitting Kickstarter very soon. It's designed by a guy named Thomas Elliot, who has previously worked on Professor Pugnasius, which we've actually reviewed on the channel. Cultists of Cthulhu is a really awesome way that allows a set of academics to explore Miskatonic University in a way that we haven't previously been allowed, or rather given the opportunity to. Miskatonic is known for just all sorts of crazy things, and it's the centerpiece of the academia world and a lot of the Lovecraftian mythos. And this is a way for us as academics to try to stop this terrible thing that's going to be happening. In Cultists of Cthulhu, we'll be playing with certain scenarios that are designed and all have unique objectives that we're going to have to do in order to win. The only problem is that somebody amongst our team is going to be a cultist secretly. So we won't know who they are. So they'll be secretly trying to undermine the rest of the academics as the game is played, which is really cool. I'm a big fan of the hidden role mechanic and the traitor element of a game. And Cultists of Cthulhu really shines in this aspect. I could compare it to a Mythos version of a game like Dead of Winter. However, it's not as heavy as Dead of Winter, and that's a really good thing, I think. We set up and learned Cultists of Cthulhu in our first play session, and ended up playing it a couple times straight, and I think it's really good in that element. It is dice based, and so there's going to be a lot of rolling of dice whenever you need to do a check. Checks will be in a different color scheme, rather. There are the green dice, which have more successes on them. There are blue dice, which are even, and then there are red dice, which have more failures than successes. And the different checks will have a difficulty depending on the color. So if you have red, you'll basically fill all the rest of your dice pool, which is going to be a dice pool of 5, minus whatever you have in your certain ability score. So if I'm doing a brawn check and it's a red check, and if I have 2 greens for my brawn, I'll be able to take basically 2 green dice and 3 red dice, and I'll roll all 5 of those and try to get whatever the good area is. There are 3 different types of faces on the die. There's good, there's weird, and then there's bad. The goods basically, again, are a positive. The weirds can be really strange things that generally are going to hurt us or really alter the way the game mechanic is played for a short duration. And the bad is almost universally bad, unless you're the cultist. The cultist is going to have the opportunity to control monsters once they're revealed, and they're going to be able to sometimes turn into a monster themselves. So all in all, it really is a very interesting execution in a Mythos setup. I really like the way that the map is actually set out and built by the players. It's allows for, again, scenarios that are set but still have randomized events and randomized locations, and a way for us to always feel like we're playing a fresh game. Cultist is really good, and I say really good. When we played it, we all kind of looked around and said, and again, we're playing a very rough prototype, mind you. We all looked at each other and just said, wow, this could be something special here if executed properly. So Thomas is going to Kickstarter, and that's what this video is for. Once their Kickstarter is live, we'll have a link below in the description of this video, so please take a look whenever that is live. We'll make sure to post it on our social media channels when it is as well. But follow us to the table now. I'm going to show you a bit of how Cultist is played, and kind of show you some of the components of what I have already. Bear in mind, this is a prototype, so don't judge the final game based on what you're seeing in this video. Again, the Kickstarter project is going to do a lot of good things for this game and flesh out components and artwork and all that thing, and the text on the cards and whatnot. So let's go to the table now. I'll show you a bit of how it's played, and then we'll go back for our final thoughts. Okay, this is a sample setup for 3 players, and you can see one thing I really like about this game is the map is very dynamic. The players are actually going to build this map one tile at a time simultaneously with each other, and kind of set the way that the game is going to work. Now, there are a couple different rules when it comes to map building. Indoor tiles have to connect with doors. You can't have any doors that are blocked off. Outdoor tiles have to be outside, that kind of thing. And you're really going to build several different buildings with 2 distinct types of landscape. They're going to be outdoor and indoor. You can see here I have 3 different buildings set up, and these are all representing different parts of Miskatonic University. Again, this allows us to see the Miskatonic universe kind of spill out before us, and we get to create something so it really feels fresh every time we play. The scenario here that we're playing is the fun guy from Yuggoth, and there are actually some really interesting things that can happen here. Our roles that we're going to play, we're going to basically find one cultist randomly from the different cultist areas. And these cultist cards, there's actually 3 of them. And they're actually going to change the way or the time in which the cultist is going to be able to reveal themselves. So for instance, this is the stars align at 15 versus 20 versus 25. Each of those, if the stars align at 15, the problem is Amigo. If it's 20, we get a Night Gaunt. And if it's 25, we get a Shoggoth. So depending on what cultist card you actually pick randomly, so we'll just do that really quick. Take these, give them a shuffle. There we go. We'll put one of those in there. We don't know what cultist it is going to be in the place. So that, again, that's a different way for us to experience a new way of playing the game every time. There are also, in the prototype, I've got 5 academic cards. These are actually kept hidden as well, and they have different areas here. And let me just zoom in so you can see a bit. So they have different stages here on the card where you're going to actually have different madness effects. So at stage 1 in this card, it says, all this magic talk gives you the heebie-jeebies. So stage 1, you're just kind of feeling weird. Stage 2, it says, if you find an Elder Sign piece while searching, discard it. Stage 3, it says, you cannot carry Elder Sign pieces. Now, one of the things here on our academic goals is that we have to assemble an Elder Sign and take it to the chapel, which actually the chapel is the observatory. The other thing we have to do is find the Star Codex and actually execute it. So there's a lot of things here. There are going to be tentacles to fight. There's some actual prologue here, and then the different artifact that we're going to have to deal with, which is the Star Codex. So being that academic and not being able to actually put together the Elder Sign or carry the sign pieces is very problematic. So again, we'll just take these. We'll shuffle these up here, and then we'll deal 2 because we have 3 people playing the game. And then we take this new deck of 3 cards that we played, shuffle these guys up, and then give 1 to every player. So one guy gets 1, this guy gets 1, this guy gets 1. So let's say we're playing this guy. We are just an academic here, so we know that we are not, in fact, the cultist, which is great for us, but then it begs the question, if it's not us, who is it, right? So this is a game that we're constantly going to be questioning, our friendships at the end of the day, like all good hidden objective games, or rather hidden identity games. Every character has their own character sheet, and let me focus here a bit. So Nelson Blake, he's a star football player here at Miskatonic University. Here are his attributes in finesse, brawn, reason, and this is actually focus, not willpower. And you can see here these are dice. So anytime we go to make a check, we're going to take whatever we're having the check in, whether it's brawn or finesse or reason, and then we're going to grab those colored dice. And then we're going to fill the rest of our dice pool with whatever color the check is. So for instance, if we're doing a brawn check with Nelson, and it is a red brawn check, we're going to take his 2 green dice that he gets from his character sheet, and since it's a red check, we're going to fill it with 3 of the red dice. Now, the problem here with these red dice is there are 3 bad spots on here and only 1 good, whereas the good dice have 3 good spots and only 1 bad, and the blue's a wash of 2, 2, and 2. The other symbol here is weird. So this Elder Sign symbol, the star, is going to be good. This yellow symbol is going to be bad, and then this is actually the original Elder Sign symbol. This twig-looking thing is actually weird. So whenever we do our check, depending on what the outcome of the check is or is what we roll. Now let me zoom in again there. So you can see I've got 3 weirds, a good, and a bad. So what I'm going to do, anytime we're doing an ability check, we can actually re-roll, and this includes combat. We can actually re-roll 1 of the faces. So we're going to re-roll all of these weirds. And we got 2 more weirds and 2 bads. Now, let's say I was doing... Let me find a brawn check really quick. There is one in here. Okay, here's a blue brawn check. So against the odds. So instead of rolling the red ones, we should have rolled blue, but that's okay. You still get the picture here. So when I roll 2 of the bads, I get a wound and a horror. If I roll 2 of the weirds, it says the star chart advances 2, deal 1 wound to a monster. And then if I got 3 goods, I would actually found an Elder Sign piece, which is really good. However, I didn't get that. I got 2 weirds and 2 bads. So both of these, both of these sections here on the card were actually going to proc at the same time. So you can have multiple events happen at the same time, which is really cool and actually really gives you a very compelling reason to throw those dice and make that choice when it is you're doing your reroll. And it also gives the cultist a lot of really cool ways to be able to either make himself look like a good guy or make himself look like a bad guy. And there are times in the game when the cultist just wants to do cultist things, right? We're going to have a couple dice here on the side. This is just going to represent the star chart. So remember, the cultists actually had those. Their roll lets you know when the stars align. So as we play the game, there are going to be things that advance the star chart, and it'll go up to 6, to 8, to eventually to 10, and then if we ever get to 15, we have a potential Migo on our hands. If we get to 20, we have a potential Night Gaunt. If we get to 25, we know it's a Shoggoth. But once the star chart gets to whatever that number is, the cultists can choose to reveal themselves, and then they're going to be able to wreak havoc and actually control the monsters that are out there. The monsters are actually not going to be controlled by anybody but the starting player, and they actually have their own unique rules that say they go after the closest player, so even the starting player is not going to be able to push them towards somebody, even if they are the cultists. So there's a good chance that the cultists are going to get attacked by monsters at the beginning of the game, and that's okay, because the cultist wants to make people think that they're the good guy, right? So there's a lot of different areas in this game that are going to have very unique circumstances to it. One of those is combat. So let's say I've got a tentacle here, and it's in the gymnasium where I am, and I want to fight this tentacle. Well, the tentacle has its own set of attributes. They have a speed of 4, a defense of 3, and wounds of 1, which means they can take 1 hit point. They're also going to attack with red. So we're going to do a combat here, and I'm just going to take the combat deck, shuffle it. You're going to take the top card of the combat deck anytime you have a combat, and you're going to flip it over. And this is going to give you a check. There's actually not a check there. Interesting. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that's right. It's a green check. There's not because it's brawn if I'm attacking with bronze. So if I'm going to fight, it's green. So again, if we look back to Nelson's character sheet, his brawn is 2 green. So with him, we're going to actually roll 5 green. Now, the tentacle has an attack of 2 red. So since the check is green, the tentacle is going to roll 2 red and 3 green, whereas Nelson is going to roll 5 green. So we're going to roll these really quick. So here we have 2 bad, 1 weird, and 2 good. Now, the 2 good are going to be successful hits on the creature. In order to actually deal damage to this thing, we have to bypass their defense. They have a defense of 3. The weirds are actually going to apply with the card. So the weird hitter says if we get 2 weirds, it says damage for the participant is swapped, which is really cool. And there's actually, all of these combat cards have different weird effects, which is really, really interesting. The bads are always bad. The bad is basically going to help our opponent hit us. For every bad that we roll, it's going to be basically 1 point of damage towards us. So we're actually going to take these bads and we're going to re-roll them. So we got 4 goods and a weird. That's a really good roll. So we've already hit them. We've already bypassed whatever their defense is. So the only problem here now is if the player who's rolling for the tentacle decides to roll that weird and actually deal damage to us. So they're going to roll. They've got 2 goods, 2 weirds. There it is already. So now they can pick 1 face to re-roll, but it doesn't really matter. So they're actually going to keep this 2 weird. So the damage here is going to be swapped. Even though we did really good and we hit the tentacle, the damage is going to be swapped because that's the weird effect on the combat check. And since they got 2 weirds, they're not going to choose to reroll anything. They're just going to let the damage swap. So I would basically be dealing 2 damage to it. It doesn't hit the defense. It's going to be dealing 4 damage to me since I rolled 4 good. And now I take a wound. And the wound tokens are actually pretty cool. They have a thing on the back that potentially makes them something other than wounds. In this case, this is going to add a red to my brawn. So now anytime I do a brawn check, I'm going to be having 2 green and 1 red, plus whatever the check is. So I'm basically building a dice pool that's unique every time I play this game. There are different parts of the game where I'm actually going to be able to add more green dice in, and there are parts of the game that are going to give me, like for instance, these wounds are going to give me red dice to make my checks harder. So hopefully the next time I get a bronze check, it's going to be for a green. I can add 2 green here rather than 2 more red. Again, there are a lot of different areas here. There's a ton of items in the game, and just in this prototype, there's a ton of outdoor events and indoor events. There's a lot of roles. The only thing that we haven't talked about yet is this stars card. So after all the players have taken their turns, they're actually going to do the university phase. In the university phase, one player is going to take 2 cards. They're going to look at both cards. Let's focus here. So here's Treasure Trove. It says duration instantaneous, which means it's instantly going to happen. It says all players that do not have a weapon draw items until they find one. And then the star chart advances 7. So right now, let's say we're at 18. This would advance us to 25. And this says we're wasting time as the second card. It says duration instantaneous. All players may heal a wound. For each player that does, the star chart advances 2. So here's a decision we can make. We can potentially heal our opponents, or we can advance the star chart 7 and give everybody a weapon. Now, if I'm the cultist, and I know this is going to advance me to the point where a monster is going to come out, I may choose this other one. Or I may decide to say we're wasting time and allow people to heal. Again, there's a lot of different opportunities. This other card is not discussed. It's shuffled back into the stars deck, and then this one is played for everybody to see. Which is really cool. So there's a lot of bluffing that could be done here in this game. There's a lot of opportunities for you as the trader to be able to manipulate your opponents into knowing, or basically not knowing, what's going to happen. Cultists of Cthulhu really exceeds there. There are a couple different actions that the players can do. They can move up to their speed every turn. They can attack. They can steal items. They can use items. They can use rooms to improve their skills or search for items, or even do scenario-based actions that are unique per scenario. The Fun Guy from Yuggoth is the only scenario that I've played, but it is really fun, and it has a lot of opportunities for us to play it again and experience a whole different type of game. All of the academic cards have their own unique madness effects, and that's something that also is really cool. When I was Nelson, one time I've got the madness effect that basically made me attack my own allies. So if I started in a zone with them, I'd have to attack them. If I ever went into a zone when I was madness stage 3, I'd have to attack them again. So there was a lot of stuff at play here with Cultists of Cthulhu. So that's a pretty basic overview of the game. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now please follow me for our afterthoughts. Well, that's it for Cultists of Cthulhu. I really like this game, and it's a game that has a lot of opportunities to provide a fresh experience every play session. Not only is it going to come with multiple scenarios that we're going to be able to play, but the map is created dynamically by the players, and it's a way for us to make sure that we're experiencing something different every time. And the way that the indoor and outdoor elements work together, I think that really, really plays for a very strong game. I really enjoyed it, and I think there's definitely something there with this game. In the mythos, there's generally not a chance for us to explore the bad side of things. There's all these people that we've always read about in Lovecraftian lore that are so crazy that they actually want the world to end, or they want to summon this crazy being from another planet or a different plane of dimension. And you never really understand their workings. Well, this allows us to explore that in a very light fashion, but it definitely allows us to take a look at what it's like to be the cultist. And again, the hidden role here and the whole trader element just works so well with this game. It is very easy to play. It's very easy to set up, and it's one that's going to be, I think, hitting your table quite a bit if you decide to back this program. It's an excellent project, and I think with enough time and with enough funding, this thing can be really, really special. So definitely take a look at Cultists of Cthulhu on Kickstarter. It is very good, and I highly recommend you guys take a look at it. Thomas, I'd like to thank you personally for allowing me to take a look at the game. You have something really special here, buddy, and I wish you a lot of success in the future. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching this video. Please give us a thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about the channel, because that would really help me out. And most importantly, game on.